Welcome to So Much Crime, So Little Time Summer Shorts. I'm Dee.
And I'm Jeff, and in this episode, we're going to introduce you to Swindled, specifically an episode called The Skywalks.
We haven't listened yet, so no spoilers are even possible.
Here, we're just going to introduce the story and take a quick trip in the time machine.
We'll link to Swindled in our show notes.
In our next episode, we'll come back and discuss the podcast, but right now, let's put on some sunscreen, grab a nice cold beverage, and preview this crime.
All right, Jeff.
All right, let me tell you a little bit about Swindled. So Swindled is a really interesting, kind of unusual podcast. Have you listened to this before?
I have not, but I have heard about it before. Tell me why you decided to choose this.
Yeah, I was just looking for what are some of the sort of like most well-regarded, but kind of different than things we've done podcasts out there. And this one has gotten a lot of acclaim. It has kind of an unusual focus. So first of all, the host is anonymous, uses the pseudonym A Concerned Citizen. And
are you just going for anonymous hosts? Are you trying to tell us something? Like, is that like what's happening?
Total
Have
coincidence.
you been a podcast host this whole time and like you're basically the host of Case File and Swindled? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
I made this show so that we can make like 130 episodes before promoting
and then
my other show,
promote.
Swindled. Yeah. It's all a long con. But speaking of long cons, Swindled specifically focuses on con artists, corporate greed, white collar crime. So we've covered some con artists before, but this episode we're going to talk about is a very different kind of story. But this show's been on for a long time. It started way back in I think 2018, and this episode we're going to listen to is a little bit of an older one. This is episode 99. Again, it's called The Skywalks. One thing about the format of the show, so every episode, as I understand it, starts with a little like prelude that talks about one story, and then there's like the intro, and then there's the main story, and those are related, but they're different stories. So this one, the main story is about the Hyatt Regency Disaster, which I'm going to talk about in a second, but there's a different bridge collapse story that is in the prelude. Okay? All right, so this is one of those true crime cases. This is something that I had heard about before. Didn't really know anything about. I don't really know anything about it. And so when I saw that this episode was one that people called out as one of the best, I was like, oh, I kind of always wanted to know more about that. Or at least like it sounds like a horrific, awful story. But the angle here is about like the corporate greed and white collar crime. And so I think this is a corporate greed story, I think. But we're going to find out together. So that's why I picked this one. So this story takes place back in 1981. And we're in Kansas City, Missouri.
Interesting.
What happened was basically there was these overhead walkways, these skywalks at a Kansas City hotel in the lobby. And they collapsed. And over 100 people were killed when this happened. Yeah. The prelude story is from Florida International University about a pedestrian bridge. So that's a different story in a different place. But the main story is about this Kansas City hotel and these two overhead skywalks that collapsed back in 1981. That's what I'm talking about. I know it's a dark story, but I think I'm curious to hear what the angle, as well as the format, like this one fun thing in an otherwise very dark story that I wanted to mention is I went over to the website of this podcast. And so I mentioned that the host is anonymous. If you go to the About page, first of all, it's a very clever, interesting website. Let me just leave it there. I encourage people to go check out the website, poke around on it. It has some interesting little Easter eggs spread throughout it. So yeah, I think we can leave it there.
Okay, this is very intriguing. I'm intrigued. We'll leave a link in our show notes. But Jeff, before we want to jump into listening to that and then our discussion on it, we got to jump into the time machine. We got to get ourselves into, what are we doing? 1981. We got to get ourselves to Kansas City. Not Kansas. We got to get ourselves to Kansas City, Missouri. Very easy mistake to make. The Irish contingent out there, we don't want to go to the wrong state. We're going to go to Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri. Let's figure out where we are, what decade we're in, what state we're in, what city we're in.
I will say on that point, this is one of those rare cases where Kansas City, Kansas and Kansas City, Missouri actually share a border. They're right next to each other. It's kind of like one large city. But the people like my mother from Kansas City, Kansas are very prideful of the Kansas side, even though Kansas City, Missouri is the one that most people know. That's where like the Chiefs, that's where the sports teams all are. But whatever, we'll leave that there.
For the Irish folk out there, it's like Carrigan Shannon. And you've got the Leitrim side and the Roscommon side. You just cross a little teeny tiny bridge.
All right, Dee, we're going to July 17th, 1981. All right, I have two songs. The first one is a song we've did before, but it was the number one song, and it was a huge, massive hit, so I thought I'd bring it back, because I don't think I did it this way. I don't think I read the lyrics to it. I think we just talked about it. This was also a long time ago, so I'm bringing it back. I'm just going to jump right into the lyrics.
Yep.
Her hair is Harlow gold.
Oh, sweet surprise. Betty Davis Eyes.
Yeah. Who sings it?
Oh, I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't either. Kim Carnes. I mean, I do. I wrote it down, but I didn't know that without looking it up. Do you remember when we talked about this?
Oh, God. Did you do 80s? It's hardly Una Linsky.
No, it was Murder 101.
Oh, yeah, that one.
Because I knew you'd get that so fast, I brought a second song, which was the number 4 song, which I looked at the charts, and this is the song that I actually was probably my favorite song in the top 10. Betty Davis Eyes is good, but this is just a banger. This is a great song. Okay. Two clues and then lyrics.
Okay.
First clue. In 2006, this song was named number 20 on VH1's 100 Greatest Songs of the 80s. There's no way you're going to get it from that. That's kind of a useless fact.
It is.
Second
Thanks
fact.
for that. Yeah.
So the person who wrote this song talked about where the idea came from. And he said he was taking a stained glass making class. And in the class was his friend Gary, as well as Gary's girlfriend. So he was telling the story when he was on Oprah Winfrey. And he said to Oprah, I was never really introduced to her. It was always just like panting from afar. Panting from afar was what he said. Oprah's people tried to find the girl, the woman. They got back as far as finding out who the teacher of the class, the stained glass class, was, but that person had died 2 years before. And 1 year after his death, they threw out all the records from the class. They could never track down who the person was that the song was about. Okay, that's the fact. Ready for the lyrics? This is complicated because the way the title is woven into lyrics, I'm going to have to use a lot of blanks. But I'm just going to jump in with the first verse, and then the pre-chorus, and then the chorus. All right? Blank is a friend. Yeah, I know. He's been a good friend of mine. But lately, something's changed that ain't hard to define. Blank's got himself a girl, and I want to make her mine. And she's watching him with those eyes. And she's loving him with that body. I just know it.
Oh, pause for a sec. Oh, fuck, I know this song.
The chorus goes, you know, I wish that I had blank, blank. I wish that I had blank, blank. Where can I find a woman like that?
Where can I find a woman like that?
That's it.
Fuck.
I wish that I had. You know this song.
Yeah, I know. I do know it. Oh, fuck, I don't know it.
Artist is Rick Springfield. The name of the song is Jesse's Girl.
Yeah, Jesse's Girl.
Yeah,
Back.
it's a great song. Great song.
Why wasn't it Gary's Girl?
Oh, because he didn't want her to know. He didn't want him to know. Yeah, so called it Jesse's Girl.
Okay.
All right. So I went to TripAdvisor and I looked up the number 1 restaurant in Kansas City, Missouri. And do you know what Kansas City is most famous for in terms of food?
Barbecue?
Barbecue. So the number 1 restaurant is a barbecue place called Q39 Midtown. It has over 3,500 ratings.
It's a lot of ratings.
Most of them are excellent, but there are a handful of bad ones. And I scanned through the bad ones. Barbecue restaurant. We've done barbecue restaurants before, and I feel like you get the typical things. Some of them were pretty boring, but there were a couple of quotes I just wanted to pull from one. This was from someone named John H., who, in a longer review, one line said, "Pulled pork was so wet we almost asked for a straw," which is just gross.
I just wish my face could say words.
Okay, and then this other one from someone named C. Bryant. said the title of the review is "No, Burnt Ends Were Not Burnt Ends," and the review is "They were just chopped up brisket. Manager was defensive and tried to bet me $1,000. They're still not burnt ends." That's the whole review. Which led me to, I have a couple of trivia questions for you about this famous Kansas City invention, this great barbecue classic, burnt ends. Have you ever had burnt ends?
No.
Oh, burnt ends are the
What
best.
what was the bet for? I did like they didn't. I don't understand what
That they
were
really
betting
were burnt
$1,000
ends.
for.
Yeah.
Like how? Like what's? How do you prove it?
I don't know.
Like how is the bet won or lost?
That review is from November 2020, and there's no follow-up. We'll never know. We'll never know. It's a mystery. But I have 3 quick multiple choice questions for you about a meat that you've never apparently had, but I've had, and suggest that anytime you're at a barbecue restaurant, you ask if they have it. It's one they run out of usually. Okay. Question 1 of 3. How do burnt ends differ from traditional brisket slices? A, they are spicier and drier. B, they are crispy and sweet. C, they're served cold. Or D, they're made from pork.
D.
That's how they differ from traditional brisket slices? They're made from pork?
I don't know. Yeah.
No, brisket is also made
Okay.
from beef, actually.
What about
usually.
what was B?
Crispy and sweet.
That one.
That's it. They're crispy and sweet. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
2. What is the typical cooking time for brisket before the burnt ends are cut and returned to the smoker? A, 2 to 3 hours. B, 4 to 6 hours. C, 8 to 12 hours. Or D, 1 to 2 hours. I don't know why they're out of order.
I mean, you could have just undid that. You know
I
that.
didn't notice until I was reading it just now that they were out of order. So 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 4 to 6, or 8 to 12. How long do you cook a brisket before you cut off the burnt ends?
I feel like you know how little I cook. And so for you to be like, well, how long do you cook a brisket? And then cut off the ends to like re-smoke.
There's a clue
like,
in the name. Burnt ends.
The longest one.
8 to 12 hours. That's right. All right, you're 2 for 2.
Fantastic.
2-ish for 2.
Cool.
We're going to give you that first one. Last one. What cooking technique is primarily used to enhance the flavor of burnt ends after they are cut from the brisket? Grilling, braising, smoking, or roasting?
You did just tell me it in the last question.
No, the
'Cause
last
you
question
said they're
I
gonna
said
be
the brisket
cut off
you take,
to be smoked.
No. The brisket goes back in the smoker.
Oh. Okay, so read them again.
Grilling, braising, smoking, or roasting?
Grilling.
Nope.
Roasting.
No, it was smoking. Smoking was the right answer.
Oh, what? Fuck's sake,
I know.
Jeff. I just said smoking and then you were like, no, there was the other thing. Why would
All
they
right.
take them off and then put them in as well?
That's just what they do. I don't know. 'Cause you got the smoker already going. Why would you have a different type of grill to make these? It's efficient.
No, but why do they take it off and then put it back in?
Because
They're putting everything back in?
you cut off the tip of the meat and then they're like diced. So they're like little, like maybe smaller than an inch cube.
So they
And
smoke
then-
different.
And you want them all crispy all around. And then usually you put them in a
I
sauce.
see what's happening. Okay.
It's a fucking delight. They're so good.
Okay.
All right.
Great.
Anyway, next time you're in Kansas City, go get some barbecue. It'll be great. That was our time machine for today.
Love it. Jeff, I feel like the next time I'm in a barbecue restaurant, because it sounds like if I do order any sort of like barbecue meats that you've told me about, like the burnt ends or, you know, the brisket, I'm going to be waiting a while before it comes to my table. So while I'm waiting, maybe I should go on to patreon.com/so much crime, so little time. And not just me. I feel like it should be like everyone at the table. I should encourage them all to go on because I feel like everyone would be like, wow, what a great group activity, Dee. Thanks so much for bringing this into our lives. And we could all go on and realise that there are longer time machines, early release episodes, bonus content, outtakes, and also everyone at that table would be able to support the show. Maybe that's what our listeners should do the next time they're at a barbecue restaurant or any type of restaurant while they're waiting for their meals. Look at us, promoting communication between families through patreon.com/so much crime, so little time. Thanks.
And good barbecue. And before we go, just a reminder, leave us a comment. Let us know what you think of burnt ends or what your favorite thing to get at a barbecue restaurant is, or your thoughts on Kansas City. Let us know. Also give us a rating if you're on Spotify, Apple, wherever you are. We love those 5-star ratings. And be sure to tell a friend about our show. We appreciate it. Next time, we'll have listened to Swindled.
We'll discuss the crime, the show, and all there is to know about that podcast.
That's the next So Much Crime.
So Little Time. So Much Crime, So Little Time is a production of MimeGov Media. The executive producer is Paxton Calariso. Our associate producer is Blythe Ty. Theme music was composed by Vyacheslav Starostin. If you haven't done it yet, please subscribe to this show in your podcast app. Don't forget to give us a 5-star rating and a review. Even better, tell your friends. To join the discussion, look for us on social media. Check out the show notes for all the links. Thanks for listening.